In the past couple of videos, I've been using the command line to interact with Git, but you actually don't have to use the command line if you don't like it. There's actually quite a few applications that interact with Git for you that you can use instead. So if you haven't guessed it, in this video, we're going to be talking about Git clients, GUIs, apps, whatever you want to call it. That's what we're going to talk about. So let's hop in. Now, you might be wondering why you would want to use an app to actually interface with Git rather than the command line. Well, here are a couple reasons. You get a graph view of commits, a graph view of branches. You can also see the changes and see who's actually performed the changes. This is really useful if you're working on a team, or maybe you're working on an open source project with some other collaborators at that point in time. And then you can see the changes and explore them a bit more. It's also really nice to be able to see all of this in a more user-friendly way. Yes, you can see all this through the command line, but it can be a bit easier to read, also a bit easier to use and to go back to and all that good stuff like you would, especially since you don't have to remember all the commands that go with it. Now, granted, the past couple times we only did a couple commands like the commit, push, branch, those kind of commands, checkout, but there's a lot more that go into Git, and the GUI is really friendly in that respect. So there are a couple options that you can use, and those options that I really have used before and really like are fork, Git Kraken, and tower. I have fork on my computer, so that's basically what we're going to use a lot of in this video. Another reason that you might actually like using applications more is if you interface with GitHub a lot, or any kind of like remote server that you have to log in, because usually they are linked a lot together. So you can log into your GitHub account and see all your repos there and just click which ones you want to clone down. All three of these options that I'm going to talk about today, fork, Git Kraken, tower, they all work on Mac and PC. It's just going to be down to which operating system you like. And then each app offers something different. So I highly suggest downloading them, playing with them, see which one works for you, all that good stuff. Like I said, I'm going to be using fork in the rest of this just because that's the one I have downloaded on my computer, but you can always choose whichever one's best for you. They're going to work relatively the same. And if you find that one works better for committing, but the other one works better for branching, guess what? You can download them and all use them at the same time because it's all backed by Git. So I like fork the best because it handles private repo as its single licensing option. It is a $50 app that you pay once you've actually fully evaluated it. You can also use it for as long as you want while you're evaluating it, which is very useful. Git Kraken and Tower each have a paid subscription plan for them. Git Kraken is free except for private repos, and Tower is subscription based, but they have a good free trial. So I highly recommend going try them out, see what's good for you. So now, how does this app flow actually compare to the command line? Well, because it's all Git based, it's actually the same workflow that you've been using. And still, you make the changes in your app, in your text editor, IDE, whatever it is. You make the changes there. You add the changes, stage them, you commit them with a message, and then you push them up to remote server. The only difference is you're doing it inside a UI versus the command line. So you're not typing in all of those commands yourself. You're actually just dealing with them in a GUI format. So let's look at how fork does it, because that's the client, like I said, that I have on my computer. So let's hop over there. First, we need to go to the repo. So when you open fork, it actually tells you we need to actually open a repo to get started. Over on the left, here are my different repos. We have the Code Coffee Tech, iHog4, some Coffee Companion stuff. All of this are the three repos that I've actually opened or cloned with this program. So then if we need to open another one, because I've already linked to my GitHub account, we're already here. We can add more there if we wanted to, but to open a new repo, we basically go to hit file up in the top left corner and then clone. And when you hit clone, because my GitHub link is here, we're going to get all the repos that I have inside my GitHub repository, which is pretty nifty. I've made some changes in Code Coffee Tech, so let's go into that repo specifically. So we highlight it here, double click, and we are inside. So once we're inside, what we kind of see here is that graphical interface I was talking about to see the commits, branches, all that jazz. So we can see that we have some local changes and some branches here. There's a little exclamation mark to tell us what our branches are because they've been removed and deleted. I haven't deleted them locally. But we're going to click on local changes. So these are all the changes that I made inside VS Code with to write a new post. It's actually the post associated with this video. Now, to add this post, to stage it, to add it, just like we would do a git add, we click the file that we want to add, then we hit stage. It's been staged. We add in a commit subject, which is our commit message here. Then we hit commit, and now it's been committed. So after we commit, the next step is to push it up to our servers. So to do that, we just hit the push button. It's going to say, hey, where do you want to push it? Up to the main. That's perfect. And then it gets pushed up. Where I think Git GUIs and Git applications really, really shine and where they really become useful is when you have to do something more than just adding some files, committing, and pushing. And one of those is creating branches and switching branches and adding tags, which is a lot of what I do inside my workflow. If you need a reminder on how to create branches and switch branches via the command line, then make sure to check the top right, top left corner, one of the corners. Make sure to check them and make sure to check out the video where I talk about creating branches, and then come back here and to see how easy it is to use the application. Here's how I'll create a branch in Fork. It's relatively similar in all the other apps also. So the first thing we're going to do is actually right click on whatever branch, wherever you want to make the branch from. So for me, that's going to be main right here. I hit new branch, and we can even see that there's a keyboard shortcut, Command Shift B. I'm sure that'll be Control Shift B if you're on Windows. When we hit Control New Branch, we give it a name. Video post. I hit create and checkout. So that's going to create the branch and get it checked out at the same time. So now that's where all my working copies will be. So that makes it really easy to jump between to create a new branch. Now, if you wanted to switch branches, it's also easy. You just double click on it and it gets switched over there. And now we're switched into the main. And there are some other niceties that come from an app besides branching. There's also the fact that your stash is here that you can quickly save your local changes. You can quickly switch your branch, add your tags, all that jazz. So if we change my repo here from Code Coffee Tech to iHog4, then we can actually see all these different tags here, and all the different tags are used for different releases, basically is how I'm treating tags. So we can actually see all the releases here are completely tracked, and I can quickly jump to whichever one I need to at that point in time. Same with all my branches and all that fun stuff there. So now at this point, you might be asking, which one should you choose? Well, that's not really a question I can answer for you, but I can say I do still use the command line regularly, even if I have an app installed on my computer, which I'll be honest, I usually do have an app installed on my computer that can run Git. Not even just like a Git client like Fork or Git Kraken or Tower, but even VS Code actually has built-in Git support. So let's go check that out real quick. You can actually see this little icon here on the left. Well, that is actually your source control. So this is where your changes will be to add Git and all that kind of stuff. So if I make a change here, and I save it, we'll see my changes here. I can then add them. I can commit my message. I command enter to actually send in that commit and solidify it. And then down here where we have this little button here, that's actually our source control there. So if I push it, it's now going to push and pull anything that's happened on the server as well, which makes it really quick and really easy to use. As even a Git GUI if you wanted to. You can control branches and stuff here as well, where we have the main. It's really nice and really easy to use if you don't have like a Git application installed. So like I said, I use this, I use VS Code, I use Fork, I even use the command line from time to time. So it's not really, like I said, a question I can answer for you, but it's what tool actually fits the job. Now, does the tool that fits the job, is it like a Git Fork application that really lays out where your what commits were happening, who made them, where they were? Or is it just I really just need to add these changes quickly. Let's get them up and let's push them to the server. Because I mean, they both do it, but one might be a little bit less friction if you know what I mean. So like a command line interface could be a lot faster then opening up the app, staging everything. You could just have it done in like 5 seconds by opening up the command line. So it's a figure it out. I trust you that now that you know that these tools are out here, go play with them, see if they work in your workflow, and then you can use whichever one's best for you. If you have a preference, then let me know in the comments below. I'd be super happy to hear them. If there's a app that you actually prefer using, also let me know. I like switching tools. If you checked out any of my other videos, like the Notion tool or another one, I like switching tool, or my Xcode. I like switching tools. I like using new tools, new products, new apps, all that kind of stuff, seeing if my workflow can improve. So if you have one that you want me to check out, have a Git GUI client that you want me to check out, then please drop it in the comments below. And if you got something out of this video, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, maybe even hit the bell to be notified when I post new videos. That'd be super duper awesome. Catch y'all next time.